Good morning and welcome to Move to Connect Ayurveda and Yoga. Sharon Amos, our resident RN, she will be sharing some chair yoga with you. Please bring up a chair if you would like to join her. Views expressed by the speaker and the workshop facilitators do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the organizing groups. All programming uses the Zoom meeting or webinar format. The webinar format is to prevent unexpected interruptions. Questions for speakers can be submitted using the Q&A chat function. This project has been hosted by the Black Project, the Black Literacy and Arts Collective here in Boston. They support resources for literacy and arts in communities of color. They have mentorship programs and encourage storytelling to build medical trust project, Spread the Love program, and they have book giveaway programs as well. We here at the People's Heart are an organization that works between the healthcare institutions and community art and placemaking collaborations. Our mission is to change institutional healthcare culture and empower underserved patients in communities of color through art and design. Programs include art on walls, workshops, lectures, pop-up health events, and you can find us at peoplesheart.org. I'm going to bring our speaker back. And Sharon, would you like to get us started?
Yes, good morning. Hello and welcome. My name is Sharon Amos. I am an oncology nurse here at Mass General, and I'm also a yoga teacher and a person that practices Ayurveda in my daily life. I teach here in Boston in my community, and I also teach at MGH. I teach classes for our sickle cell community. I've been teaching yoga for about 6 years now and practicing yoga for more than 12 years. Okay, so just a bit about my journey. I kind of stumbled into yoga many years ago, just looking for something different to switch up my workout routine. And not knowing much about it, I took a few yoga classes and noticed that it made me feel better than I'd felt doing any other form of exercise or activity. Just really spacious in my body and a calm in my mind that was kind of like nothing I'd experienced before. So I've been practicing regularly ever since. And I've, then went on to teach, to take teacher trainings and teach, mainly because in my experience with yoga in the past around town here in Boston, it was not very diverse. I was often the only person of color in the space. I'd never had a teacher of color. And I really, because it was so profoundly helpful for me in my personal life and my personal journey, I wanted to be a part of helping to change that, that the way yoga is kind of presented to us around town. Okay, so just to more diversity in teaching and in studentship is kind of really what I wanted to see for where we live. So today's presentation is basically a really broad overview of yoga and its sister science, Ayurveda. Okay, so these are both huge topics that you could take a couple of lifetimes to fully study and understand. So just understand that this is a very broad stroke explanation, just an overview so that folks can have a sense of what the two things are and be a little bit more comfortable in navigating, looking to get more involved with either of them. So we'll start with a slide presentation that I'll kind of talk you through about both the things, yoga and Ayurveda, and we'll end with a short mini chair yoga session, which will incorporate breath and mindfulness and meditation. Okay, so I'm going to get started and I will share my screen with you for slides. Okay, so as I said before, this is an introduction to yoga and Ayurveda. It's a brief overview, um, broad strokes. So, and my name is Sharon Amos. I am a 500-hour registered yoga teacher, and let's begin. Okay, so what is yoga? Yoga is an ancient practice that originated in India thousands of years ago, and it's basically a blend of physical and mental practices, disciplines that teach us to use and unify our mind, body, and spirit in order to cultivate self awareness, personal growth, and ease from human suffering. The physical practice of yoga is very popular. I think we all have seen it marketed very, athletic, bendy, fit yoga gear. It's kind of the focus is more on the external, but it's just a small part of what the practice is meant to be. Yoga is a process, it's a state of being, and a lifestyle that goes far beyond any 1 hour class that you could take. So I just wanted to make that point. Um, the term yoga has the verbal root yuj, Y-U-J, in ancient Indian Sanskrit language, which means to unify or to join together. Okay, and then there are several styles of yoga today. Over the years, it's been, popularized and um, made to suit different demographics, and hybrid style yoga classes are available. Okay, so just to talk about some main types of yoga that you may see on a yoga studio schedule. Okay, so there's hatha yoga, all right? So hatha yoga can be traced back to the 11th century AD, and it's a style that all other forms of yoga originate from. It's been most popularized here in the West, as we said before, because of the physicality of it. But Hatha translates as the sun Ha and the moon Tha. Okay, so Hatha, sun and the moon. It's a physically grounding practice of postures combined with breath work and usually more gentle in nature. So Hatha yoga is a nice way to start yoga. It tends to be a little bit slower paced and gentler in nature. Some common variations of Hatha yoga are these that follow on this list. Okay, so that you have Ashtanga yoga, founded by Patabi Joyce in the 20th century. It's a vigorous, regimented practice where students follow a set sequence of postures each time, gradually progressing through a series of 6. Okay, and the Sanskrit word Ashtanga translates to the 8 limbs or practices of yoga, as outlined in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, which is kind of the quote unquote Bible of yoga, where it really just outlines what yoga is and um, what the process of yoga is. Right. And so it gets into yoga theory and the practice in depth, the Yoga Sutras, and we'll discuss the 8 limbs shortly. All right, so Iyengar Yoga was founded by BKS Iyengar in the 1970s, and it's a practice that places a great importance on body alignment and uses a variety of props and pose modifications to allow practitioners to perform them in one form or the other. Okay, so Iyengar is credited with popularizing modern yoga in India and around the world. He is a very well-known and revered yoga teacher. Vinyasa yoga, founded in the 1940s by Patabi Joyce, another well-known yoga teacher, historically, bringing yoga to the West. And it's a powerful and dynamic style incorporating hatha and breath work with origins in Ashtanga yoga. So basically, hatha is the umbrella that all of the other lineages of yoga come from. if we can think of it that way. It can be slow or fast paced, and the sequencing is up to the individual teacher. So Vinyasa yoga is pretty popular because it tends to be kind of athletic and a lot of movement and a little bit more like gymnastic style yoga. So it's popular because of that, the intense physicality of it. Okay, so types of yoga continued. So Bikram yoga, another very popular style, was founded by Bikram Chaudhary in the 1970s. The classes consist of a fixed sequence of 26 postures practiced in a room heated to 105 degrees Fahrenheit with a humidity of 40%, intended to replicate the climate of India. Okay. And Yin Yoga, founded by Paulie Zink in the 1970s, is designed to cultivate slow and restful energies. It's mainly passive stretching postures held for 3 to 7 minutes. The goal is to stretch and release tight muscles, ligaments, fascia, and connective tissue. And eventually, once the body releases, the mind can also release. That's the ultimate goal. Restorative yoga, also known as rest and digest. Okay, so it originates from Iyengar, but was populated by Judith Lasater in the 1970s. It's a practice of deep relaxation that emphasizes the meditative aspect of yoga by holding postures for a longer duration, completely supported by props like yoga blocks, bolsters, and blankets. So this style is complete relaxation. So this class is usually probably a total of 5 or 6 poses max, and you're positioned, positioned on your mat. You are wearing the most comfortable clothing. Maybe you have an eye pillow, some socks. You're dressed so that you're comfy and cozy, and you're just completely held by the props, and it really just allows you to release tension and get into a deep meditative state. Kundalini Yoga, which is the last on our list, made popular by Yogi Bhajan in the 1960s, cultivates the energy within using breath work, kriyas, which are pranayama breath practices combined with physical postures, also meditation and mudra. The mudra are hand gestures that are used in yoga, kind of energetic seals. They're thought to be connecting the mind and the body. So this is just a list of 8. There are a whole slew of different kinds of yoga classes. There's goat yoga and aerial yoga, acro yoga, just to name a few. I just wanted to name some of the more popular styles so that you can, if you're looking at a yoga schedule, you can be familiar with kind of what you might be in for. Also, just to let you know that most yoga studios, when the classes are listed, if you click on the class itself, there's a description, and it kind of tells you what to expect from the class, and also kind of the level. A lot of studios give you like intermediate, advanced, or beginner levels. If you're looking for beginner yoga, I would look for verbiage like slow flow, or also beginner or intro to yoga. Things like that. Gentle yoga is also one if you're looking for a gentler style, or that doesn't feel as athletic as some of these other styles. Okay. So just a bit about yoga philosophy. So we talked about the 8 limbs of yoga earlier in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. And this diagram here at the internet is great for finding public images of just really making the point really concisely. Okay, so we have our 8 limbs here on this wheel. So going clockwise, starting with yamas. So yamas, niyamas, asana. An asana is the physical aspect of yoga. So if you notice that the asana is just one of many steps that yoga, in the process of yoga that you are taking to kind of get to a higher place in your life. Okay, so yamas are external principles, and ahimsa. So on to the left here, or to the left, yeah, there you have your yamas, and there are 5 of them. So nonviolence, truthfulness, non-stealing, moderation, and non-greed. So these are just kind of suggestions for you, or guidelines for you to live your life. And this is on the path of yoga, right? And niyamas, internal disciplines. To your right, saucha, which is cleanliness, and santosha, which is contentment, which being kind of content with where you are in life, even if it's not to your liking necessarily, kind of just be with what is happening now and process it. And even if you have goals to change things, trying to just be in the moment and again, processing and being in a calm, accepting place to minimize suffering. All right, so tapas is discipline. And so discipline to do anything, right? So focus and discipline is necessary. Svadhyaya is self-study, which is self-reflection. And Ishvara Pranidhana is kind of surrender to a higher power. It's kind of like contentment, or tapas, where you're disciplined to work on something and you recognize where you are, but your work is done without attachment to the results of your work. You're doing it purely because it is it's your purpose. Okay. And then pranayama, which is breath control, breathing exercises, many of those. Pratyahara, which is withdrawal of the senses. And basically that is kind of turning off the phone, right? And just turning off the lights, bringing the attention inward, trying not to be distracted by all of the things that are happening around us constantly. That is a practice in and of itself. And it can be very difficult in this information age, where we're constantly bombarded with information and images and stories. And we know more than ever about everything. And it really can affect our nervous systems. So dharana is concentration, just basically learning how to focus on one thing, or even 2 things, but just honing in your focus. And then Diana is the next. Dhyana, I'm sorry, I'm saying these names wrong. Dhyana, meditative absorption. So after you've gone through all of the previous, you're preparing. The previous steps were preparing you for a deeper state of meditation. And then samadhi, which is the highest state of focus, concentration, and meditation that you could attain. Totally unattached from, all that's going on around you, and absorbed and focused and clear. Okay. So yoga love. Yoga has exploded over the past few years worldwide, especially in the information age, where we have access to more information than ever, as we said before. And these are just some stats. And this information was compiled by thegoodbody.com. I don't have it on my reference list at the end, but they did these studies. So 36 million people in America practice yoga today. And just really interesting that from 2012 to 2016, the number of Americans doing yoga grew by 50%. There was a lot happening in 2016, so that's understandable, but pretty profound. There's an estimated 300 million yoga practitioners worldwide. And Americans spend 16 billion on yoga classes and equipment yearly. So it's big business. 72% of yoga practitioners are female. the number of men practicing yoga rose from 4 million to 10 million in 2012. No, I'm sorry. The number of men practicing yoga rose from 4 million in 2012 to 10 million in 2016. 1.7 million children are practicing yoga in the US. And flexibility and stress relief are the most common reasons for starting yoga. So I just want to take a moment to recognize and honor that, yes, yoga is big business here and it's great for all of us, but I always want to honor yoga's roots. It is this a really gift. It's really a gift to humanity, and it originates. It has its origins in India, and unfortunately, the people of India do not benefit from yoga the way we do in the West, and if monetarily. So, I just want to maybe encourage you to follow some yoga teachers online that are of Indian descent, um, and some teachers that are trying to bring more awareness about yoga and the history of yoga. And there's one teacher that I really enjoy. Her name is Susanna Barkataki. She has a book out called Honoring Yoga's Roots, and she does a lot of work around decolonizing yoga and spreading awareness about kind of the misconceptions and how it's made into a super physical practice when that's really not the essence of it. So I just wanted to take a moment to say that and name that. Okay, so some benefits of yoga: emotional, physical, and overall well-being. Right? Like I said, for me it was life-changing. I had multiple health issues related to anxiety and stress. I was experiencing hair loss and insomnia, trouble sleeping, and I was really going through a tough time. And yoga really shifted that for me. So it's really a powerful practice. Just the ability to control your nervous system or regulate your nervous system and breathe more efficiently and effectively so that your body can function the way that it needs to, taking the rest that you need so that your body can function the way that it needs to. It's really quite powerful. So finally, who should practice yoga? Right? So this little slide I made up is just to kind of say that it's really for everybody, man, woman, child. As long as you can breathe and you're awake, you can do yoga. If you're disabled, you can do yoga. There's all sorts of modifications, props, different variations of yoga, which is nice. Kids yoga, prenatal yoga, chair yoga. So just wanted to make that point. Yoga is for everybody. All right. So Ayurveda, another really powerful practice. Ayurveda for me came later, after many years of practicing yoga, and that really changed the game for me. All right. So just a few bullets about Ayurveda. Both yoga and Ayurveda originated in India over 5,000 years ago. Ayurveda is an ancient holistic system of health practices that focus on prevention in the individual to maintain balance and harmony between the mind, body, and the environment. The Sanskrit word Ayurveda means the science of life. In Hindu mythology, the gods gave us yoga to heal the spirit and Ayurveda to heal the body and mind. Thus, Ayurveda is considered yoga's sister science, and both are meant to complement each other. Ayurveda encompasses diet, lifestyle, herbs, body work, and yoga to restore and maintain health. And my little stone configuration here is just kind of representative of the balance that we're trying to attain with our practice. It's a calming image, hopefully. Okay, so some Ayurveda basics. So two Sanskrit words, prakriti and dosha. So Ayurveda, these two things are the primary basis of Ayurveda. Okay, so prakriti, well, let's just, I'll read my bullets and we'll go into it. So Ayurvedic philosophy categorizes everything: nature, food, the body, the mind, energy, interactions, all things as a combination of 5 basic elements. Okay, and those elements are in my chart here on the side. The elements are ether, air, fire, water, and earth. Ether, if you're wondering what that is, it's basically space. So it's the container of everything in the universe. So then, and then after ether, there comes air, right? So you can't breathe in outer space. So it's considered ether. So all things in existence are a unique combination of these elements. In humans, this blend is considered one's prakriti or constitution. This is our genetic makeup and does not change. There are 3 principal energies that govern the body in Ayurveda. Those are Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. The 3 are a combination of 2 elements. Each person is made up of all of the energies with unique and varying ratios, but one usually is more dominant. The dominant energy is considered one's dosha. Okay, so let's just look at the chart and process that. Okay, so the 5 elements: ether, air, fire, earth, and water. Okay, and so Vata is a combination. I like this chart, even though earth is misspelled. I like this chart because it kind of really concisely gives you a visual of what it is. Okay, so the 5 elements: ether, air, fire, earth, and water. Vata is a combination of ether and air. Kapha is a combination of water and earth, and Pitta is a combination of fire and water. Okay. And just a little bit more about doshas and how they're basically energies that govern your body, according to Ayurveda. Okay, so in Ayurveda, each of us have a unique mind-body type known as a dosha. Think of a dosha as your individual blueprint that describes your unique personality, tendencies, and physical nature. Understanding your dosha reveals how to keep yourself in balance to stay happy, healthy, and disease-free. Okay. And on the right here, it just kind of breaks down what these 3 energies govern in the body, and when they're out of balance, how they manifest. Okay, so Vata is a subtle energy associated with movement, composed of space and air, as we said. It governs breath, blinking, muscle, and tissue movement, pulsation of the heart, and all movements in the cytoplasm and cell membranes. Okay, so all movement in the body is Vata. When it's in balance, Vata promotes creativity and flexibility. When it's out of balance, Vata produces fear and anxiety, okay, according to Ayurveda. So once you realize what your dosha is, and just an aside, how you find out your dosha is there are Ayurvedic quizzes online that you answer a series of questions, and these questions are asking basically everything about you, your body type, your size, the size of your teeth, what time you like to go to bed, what time you like to wake up, what you like to eat. It really just kind of, the thickness of your hair, what your face shape is like, things like that really break down the type of person you are according to your doshas. The next one is Pitta, which expresses the body's metabolic system made up of fire and water, and it governs digestion, absorption, assimilation, nutrition, metabolism, and body temperature. In balance, Pitta promotes understanding and intelligence. And when it's out of balance, Pitta produces anger and hatred and jealousy. Okay. Kapha is the energy that forms the body's structure: bones, muscles, tendons, and it provides the glue that holds the cells together, formed from earth and water. Kapha supplies the water for all bodily parts and systems. It lubricates joints, moisturizes the skin, and maintains immunity. In balance, kapha is expressed as love, calm, and forgiveness. Out of balance, it leads to attachment, greed, and envy. Okay, so there are certain body types that can kind of go along with your doshas. Vatas tend to be kind of thin framed, petite, thin hair, very energetic, kind of doing a lot of different things because they're drawn to certain things that keep them busy and active. They can, like it said, be prone to having anxiety and trouble sleeping and trouble settling down. So for Vata, those types of folks might be, interested in eating light because they tend to be so, physical a lot of the times. Um, and kind of conscious of their physicality. But when they are out of balance, they probably need to eat something a little more grounding, a little heavier, something with oils, pastas, starchy, just to help ground them. They may need to take some of the things off of the plate that they're doing because they're so busy. They may need to try to go to bed a little earlier. So in Ayurveda, you balance your energies with doing the opposite of what is dominating. Okay, so like begats like. So a Vata person is drawn to being busy and, you know, keeping a really rigorous, busy schedule and doing all of the things. But that person, it will eventually take you out of balance. And then you need to come down to some more grounding things, maybe a restorative practice as opposed for going for a run. And Kapha, which is kind of the exact opposite of Vata, is a that person is a little bit more big boned, a little bit larger in body frame, has thick hair, smooth skin, moves a little bit more slowly, just feels really grounded and wise and calm. We all know people like this, right? If you can picture that person. Is more prone to depression and needs more kapha-like things, right? So that person shouldn't eat heavy meals if they are out of balance. They should probably eat that salad, just to give you the exact opposites of how Ayurveda, and these are very general like uh, ideas, but there's our Ayurvedic health counselors that can specifically come up with plans for you to manage your imbalances, which is really nice. I'm going to move on to the next slide. So dinacharya, which in Ayurveda is a daily routine. And Ayurveda is pretty much governed by daily routine because once you're aware of your chronological schedule and your circadian rhythms, you can plan your day so to where your body will be functioning optimally, right? So, like I said, in Sanskrit, dinacharya means daily routine, and it's a concept in Ayurvedic Vedic medicine that looks at the cycles of nature and bases daily activities around these cycles, right? So Ayurveda contends that routines help to establish balance, and that understanding daily cycles is useful for promoting health. So if you look at this wheel here, this chart, this is kind of the Ayurvedic daily clock. So from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., that is a strong time of day for digestion. It says, so around noon, there's strong Agni. So that should be your Agni is digestive fire. And in Ayurveda, your digestive fire is so important for processing and detoxing and keeping your whole body system functioning normally, your immunity optimal, and all of the things that keep your body healthy and strong. So they suggest that you have your biggest meal around this time because your digestive fire is strong and you can process it more easily. Vata period is from 2 to 6. All right, so that's the time to. Also during from 10 to 2, that's the hardest. So the bulk of your work for the day should be done around that time. Okay, and then from 2 to 6, that's the time where you kind of create and plan for the next day, and you would exercise at that time of day. According to Ayurveda, these are the best times to do these activities. From 6 to 10, you would have a light dinner, be with family. It's time to down regulate, right? Be with family and relax. Many of us are doing most of our things or a lot of things during this time, and it really can affect our health. If we stick to a schedule or try to as best we can, it really does help in your overall functioning. And so from 10 to 2, you should be sleeping. The biggest digestive processes happen while you're sleeping. So that's rest and digest. It's that time of day. Okay, so staying up late, a lot of us do. It's not optimal for our body functioning. And it can manifest in other ways with problems with digestion. So from 2 to 6, that's your dream wake state, your elimination state, and you would do some meditation and exercise at that time. Okay, and then from 6 to 10, I'm sorry, at 6 a.m. is meditation and exercise, and then from 6 to 10, that's when you'd have your breakfast, follow with just kind of planning your day and moving into your day. So obviously life is complicated. We can't always stick to a schedule, but if just having this in mind and knowing, maybe if you're not feeling like yourself, maybe get into more of a routine to see if you can shift things back. Just having the awareness is really helpful. Okay, so this is an example of an Ayurvedic lifestyle routine checklist, and this is like morning stuff. And there are many suggestions for your routine. I listed a few here, and there are a few that I do every single day that have been really helpful in keeping my digestion strong and keeping me healthy. So like we said in the last chart, waking up early is pretty important if you can. Brushing your teeth, so mouth care, first thing in the morning, brushing your teeth, scraping your tongue. And I have some images here. This is a tongue scraper at the top with a coconut oil. So you brush your teeth, scrape your tongue with the tongue scraper. So at night, that's when our biggest digestion is happening, right? And the byproducts, the waste products of that comes up onto the tongue. So it comes up through the mouth and then out through the poop, right? Which makes sense. So in the morning, that's why we have bad breath and our mouth just feels really gross because the waste products are coming up from all the digestion that's happening at night. So the tongue scraper is a good way to clean the tongue. It helps you to revitalize your taste buds and just cleans off all of that bacteria that you don't want to swallow back into your system. Just gets rid of it. And then you oil pull, which you take a teaspoon of coconut oil and just keep it in your mouth anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. A little longer would be great too. And just go about your morning. Just keep the oil in your mouth, swish it around. It's really great in pulling out the waste, the bacteria, keeps your teeth really healthy and promotes great, good breath or oral hygiene and really does help to keep your mouth together. So coconut oil pulling. So I have an image of someone doing the tongue scraping. So you hold the two ends and bring it to the back of the tongue and gently pull forward, like over the sink, and just like kind of let it drop into the sink. And then you do your oil. And then this is a picture of a lady with her oil in her mouth, having a good time with that. And then hot water. Hot water is a must every single day for me with lemon. It really does help to get my digestion going. It helps to start the detoxing process, stimulating, circulating. It really is a powerful thing to do every day. Start with warm water to get your day going. Another suggestion is a neti pot, which is a nasal irrigation, and there's a picture of a lady doing that on the side. Many of us suffer from allergies, or even if you feel a cold coming on. When we get sick, it's usually through our nose that the viruses and bacteria and just allergens come in through your nose because you're breathing in, right? So the neti pot, which is called nasya in Sanskrit, really is just an irrigation of your sinus, of your nasal passages, of your sinuses, to just flush through anything that could, you could be harboring bacteria or viruses in there, flush that through and drain it out. So it's another detoxing practice. This is not something I do every day, but it's something I do once in a while, and it really is helpful. My son, who suffers from allergies, does this, and it really does help him profoundly. Okay. The other thing is dry brushing. So I have a young lady here with the brush. You can get them at any drugstore, the long handle brush with the natural bristles, and you basically are massaging your body with the brush. So everywhere on the sides of the neck, the shoulders, you can just like brush in a downward direction. And you're really stimulating your lymphatic drainage, you're stimulating circulation. All of this is working towards detoxifying and keeping things moving, flowing through. You don't want stagnation. You want your body to process, so that anything that comes at you, you're not going to hold on to it. You're going to just flush it out of your system with the hot water, with the neti pot, with the dry brushing. Really good for stimulating lymphatic drainage. Okay. And finally, or also meditation. That is something I do every day. So for me, I do the tongue scraping, oil pulling, hot water, dry brushing, and meditation every single day. Okay, there are other things that you can do also. Sometimes if you're feeling really anxious or overwhelmed or a lot going on, a self massage with oil is a really nice way to feel grounded in your body. So sesame oil is good for that. Coconut oil is good for that. And then, of course, bathing and cleansing and having breakfast. So a morning routine can really be transformative. Okay, and so this is my resource list. Sorry, it's not APA format, but just a list of references, books that are really helpful on your journey to get started with all of this. And thank you. So also at the bottom, there is a dosha quiz that you can do on Kripalu. Kripalu is a big wellness center in the Berkshires. They have a lot of programming for people who are interested in Ayurvedic counseling or becoming an Ayurvedic health counselor. They're a wealth of resources. And also more locally is the Boston Ayurveda School, where I did my information training. It was just a personal training for myself. And they have Ayurvedic health counselors that you can get in touch with there as well. Okay, thank you so much. So now let's move and breathe. If I invite you to grab a chair if you have one, and we'll do our practice.
Sharon, I have a quick question for you.
Yes, yes.
There is a question in our chat box, and it's been there
Mm-hmm.
since the beginning. I'm wondering if you
Oh,
want to
okay.
respond to that before the exercise or after.
Okay.
Which one would you prefer?
Wait, hold on one second.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, you can give me the question.
Okay. The question is, Can you discuss the importance or evolving role of yoga in the Black community?
Absolutely. I don't know if we're going to have time for my for my chair yoga. Um, for me, as I said earlier, it was really important for me to become a teacher as a person of color. These spaces tend to not be super welcoming and comfortable. There are few people of color in these spaces, and teaching and in studentship, and it's expensive. It's not in our neighborhoods. So this practice is so incredibly healing, and it's not just for an exclusive few, which is how it's marketed and how it has tended to be over the years. I mean, let's face it, yoga's has been colonized. It's an ancient practice from
Mhm.
India, and it's a gift to humanity, and it's become like something that is so inaccessible. So it is hugely important because it's teaching us to care for ourselves so that we can stay out of the hospital. Basically, I work in healthcare, and this is what I believe. There are simple. All these daily routines are to keep your body, your mind, your spirit balanced. And of course, we all are going through a lot of different things, but it just helps us to navigate all of these challenges um, more with a little less suffering, a little more calm, a little more clarity. And when you're calm and you're clear, your body functions the way it's supposed to. When you're in a stress mode, your body goes into dysfunction, and we have all these sequelae of diseases and problems and health issues. So if at the root of it is a daily practice, taking care of yourself, taking time to slow down, sit, be with your food, take time, enjoy your family, your friends, work hard. But we live in a very go hard or go home kind of society, and I feel it really is hurting a lot of us. Social media has puts a lot of pressure on like what we should be doing, and it's even more stressful than it's ever been. And it really it's time to bring the attention in with your meditation, with your daily routines, and really just take control of your health. We have the power to do that, I believe, in a lot of ways.
Thank you
Okay.
for that reminder. That's really
Mhm.
helpful to hear, even as an Indian whose
Yes.
whose practice on some level was so colonized
Hmm.
that I had to give up on the whole
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah,
Like, no,
exactly. It's
I don't
very
know how to
off-putting.
do this. Yes.
It's very off-putting,
Mhm.
but it's off-putting as it was. It literally, I felt better than I'd felt it's so long. I was like, this works. Like, we need this. How do we get more people to do this? So
You become a teacher. So
yes,
let's give
I
you back the
became a teacher.
floor. You
All
become a
right,
teacher. So let's give you back the floor, and so you can teach us a little
okay,
bit more.
yes,
And I will leave you on the screen.
thank you. So let's stand up first. We're going to do a chair yoga sequence, but let's just stand if you've been sitting for a while. And there's another thing in Ayurveda that's a daily routine that is recommended as as we age, the joints and the bones and the muscles get kind of stiff. It's joint rotations. Okay, so let's just kind of pedal out the legs here before we sit in our chair, and then come onto the ball of your right foot and just kind of roll your ankle in one direction a few times, and then switch directions. And then do the other foot, come onto the ball of the left foot and roll your ankle, and then switch directions. And then from here, bring your hands to your knees and just kind of squat a little bit. And you're just going to make circles with your knees. All right. So working on the knee joint. Really simple stuff, but this practice helps to bring lubrication to our joints, minimizing stiffness. Okay, and then switch directions a couple of times. And then bring your hands to your hips, and you're just going to make hip circles. All right, so basically we're just making a bunch of circles. Keep your feet where they are and make the circle as big as you can, just moving that femur bone around your hip socket. Okay, and notice what that feels like. You've been sitting for a while, and then switch direction. Okay, one more big circle in that direction, and then bringing it up the body. We're going to do some shoulder circles. All right, so roll the shoulder, bring the shoulders up, and roll them back and down, up and back and down, back and down, and then switch directions. And when you have more time, you can do this for a little longer. I'm trying to kind of condense this because we don't have much time. And then some wrist circles, all right? So just kind of it's like a dance move here. Flamenco, maybe. I might be wrong. And then switch directions. And then finally, you're going to make some neck circles. All right. So bring your chin to your chest and then make the circle as big as you can. Bring it over to the left, look up, and then bring it down to the right. Go 3 times in this direction. And switch. Okay. And when you're ready, come back to your seat. All right. So just bring your feet under your knees. All right. And don't sit all the way back in your chair. Just leave a little space between your back and the back of your chair. And bring your hands to your thighs. And just take a moment to get grounded in your body. Notice what your body's feeling like today. If you're feeling achy or tight, or if there are any areas of tension. Notice what your quality of mind is like today. Maybe you're feeling a little fatigued, maybe a little anxiety, maybe a little overwhelmed, or maybe you're feeling fine. Just notice, just make this a self-inquiry, which is a big part of our yoga practice. Notice if your face is, or your jaw is clenched, I should say, and separate your teeth. Soften the muscles in your face. Release your jaw. And finally, bring awareness, bring attention to the breath. Maybe making your inhales a little bit more complete, expanding on the inhales, filling up the torso, feel the breath in the back body. And exhaling, emptying your lungs a little bit more completely as well. So draw the low belly in at the bottom of the exhale. Inhales, expanding, opening, inviting energy in. And exhales, releasing, rooting you down through your seat, grounding you. Deep breath in. Pause at the top. And exhale, let it out through your mouth. Cleansing breath. 2 more like that. Big breath in. Belly, ribs, collarbones. Bring the breath up into your throat. Pause at the top. Feel the breath in your back body. And exhale, release. Let it out. One more big breath here. This time, take a sip, fill up. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and exhale, release. Okay. So just take a moment to let that assimilate. Our breath is a very powerful tool for regulating our nervous systems. And your breath is available to you at any time. If you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, tired, just come back to the breath. And from here, open your eyes, keep your gaze really soft. And lift your right knee up and hold the knee with both hands. Okay. Flex the toes and bring the knee towards your chest, or towards your right shoulder, I should say. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. Slowly extend the leg and kick through the heel. And bring both arms up overhead. Take a deep breath in. And hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Replace. Second side, hug the left knee in towards the right shoulder. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, extend the leg straight out. And inhale, reach the arms up. Reach up through the fingertips, lift your side body. Kick through the heel for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and replace. One more time on the other side. Bring the right knee in, flex the toes, hug it in as close as you can get it. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, extend the right leg, and then bend the knee and bring the right ankle on top of the left knee. All right, so a figure 4 chair pose. Take a deep breath in and a smooth breath out. Maybe you gently press the knee away with your right hand. One more breath. And exhale, slowly lean forward. Maybe you bring your elbows to your shins and chin towards your chest, deepening the hip opening a little bit more. Take 2 more breaths. And exhale. One more breath. And exhale. Slowly lift your torso. And you're going to just let that leg slide down. So the right leg is sliding down. So you're sitting cross-legged. Right leg is on top. All right. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. Bring your left hand to the right side of your chair, the seat of your chair, and your right hand behind you. Maybe you grab the back of the seat of the chair for a twist, or maybe you can also hold the top of the back of the chair, and you're twisting here. So away from your right knee. Inhale to lengthen. And if you can't grab the side of the chair, you can just bring the arm, resting it to the outside of your right leg, the left arm. Take a deep breath in, lengthen the spine, and exhale, twist. One more breath. And exhale. Slowly bring your torso back through center. Uncross the legs. And again, hug the left knee in towards your chest. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, extend the leg straight out. And then bring the left ankle on top of the right knee. Pause here. So back away from the back of your chair. So your back body away from the chair so you can be long in your spine. Maybe gently pushing the left knee down, and notice from one side to the other how that feels. I'm a little tighter on this side. It's just information. Keep breathing. and modify where you need to. Okay, so your practice is yours, and you adjust, modify, skip things if you need to. That is also yoga. That's self inquiry. Take a deep breath in and exhale, come forward. Maybe your elbows, your forearms are on your shin. Flex the left toes. Breathe. Notice what the left hip is feeling like in this posture. If you need to back out a bit, please do so. Take one more breath here and exhale slowly. Bring the body up and cross the legs. And we'll just twist to the other side. So bring your right arm across to the left side of the chair, left hand to the back of the chair, turning your torso to the left, drawing the low belly in. Inhales for length, exhales for rotation. One more deep breath here. And exhale, release. Bring yourself back to center. Bring the feet wide, toes out, heels in. And then from here, let your hands come down by your sides. And inhale, bring the arms up. Palms together at the top, and exhale, hands through heart. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, hands through heart. Inhale, the arms up. Big circle. Exhale, hands through heart. One more inhale, the arms up. Exhale, hands through heart. Bring your hands to your thighs, or to your knees, I should say, and just kind of come to the edge of your seat and keep the legs open. And from here, you're going to drop the right shoulder in and look over the left, keeping the knees wide. Inhale, come through center. Exhale, drop the left shoulder in, look over the right. Just creating more space in our torso, a little twisting. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, drop it down to the right, look left. Inhale, center. Exhale, drop it down to the left, look right. Inhale, center. Okay. From here, bring the feet together. And one more time, inhale, sweep the arms out. And this time at the top, you're going to grab your right wrist and side stretch to the right, heavy in the opposite sitting bone. Inhale back through center. Grab the right wrist and side stretch to the left, heavy in the right sitting bone. Inhale, center. One more time on each side, go to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, go left. Inhale, center. Exhale, come back to center. Bring the hands down. And again, returning to where we started, that was a very short practice. Right. Bring your palms up, and this will be a seated shavasana. Okay. Bring your palms up and keep them in your lap. Keep the feet under your knees. And this time, rest back in your chair. Take a deep breath in and a smooth breath out. Shavasana. Just rest here for a moment. And then start to deepen your breath. Make small movements with the fingers and toes. Slowly open your eyes. And I thank you so much for your time. And I thank you for sharing this ancient healing practice of yoga with me this morning. Have a wonderful rest of your day.